one motherfucker at a time.
Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel, I'm For Classic and welcome to Hellbound, a game developed by Saybot Studios, and it is using Unreal Engine 4. And this game wants to be some sort of a 90s game, those 90 FPS that are very fast-paced and you need to find keys to open throughout the doors. So games like Iron Fury that we already tried on the channel, it is mostly that type of 90s FPS style game. And it is pretty cool, although there are some stuff that makes me to not entirely recommend this game. But we are here to see how this game performs with the GTX 1650 Super, so we will see how it performs. So let's start. First of all, this game it is pretty demanding, which is a surprise, because graphically I don't think that this game it is that good to justify the performance. But I'm running the game with high settings, 1080p, and using median anti-aliasing, which it isn't really that demanding at all. I'm not really sure what type of anti-aliasing they are using in here. But yeah, that's about it. So let's take a look on the minimum requirements. So as recommended, this game recommends an i5 from the 2000 generation, 8 gigs of RAM, and the GTX 770 with 4 gigs of VRAM, or an AMD Ryzen R9 290 with 4 gigs of VRAM. So we are obviously above the recommended spec, and that performance could be so much better than what I'm getting. So with the high settings at 1080p, my average was 83 frames per second and a 1% low of 52, which means that the game does drop below 60 frames per second. A fast-paced game with this type of graphics dropping below 60 frames per second. I'm not really sure if we are kind of spoiled of Doom, which is extremely well optimized and offers insane graphics, and we can still have an experience above 60 frames per second, but this one, with this type of graphics, we can't at high settings, and that's really not very good, in my opinion. So we need to drop to median settings for the game to offer an experience above 60 frames per second, which looks bad, honestly, and at the grotesque setting, well, what we get, it is pretty much, we have an average of 60, with an average of 61 with a 1% low of 44. Well, that's about it for 1080p. I decided to also try the game at 1440p at median settings, just to see how it goes, and the average was 66 frames per second with a 1% low of 37. So it means that the game can go as low as 37 frames per second. So not very good performance for this game, unfortunately, which is a little bit sad. But if I intend to run this game, in my opinion, the best way to play this game, it is to go with 1080p high settings, and even having those drops under 60 frames per second, it is absolutely fine. So, as you can see, the performance in here seems to be performing much better. This is because for this benchmark I did use this specific level, and I also used the survival mode, which puts a ton of enemies on screen. The survival mode, it is more demanding than this specific level, but I'm not really sure if more forward into the game, if we don't find levels like that where it spawns multiple enemies on screen, a ton of them in fact, and the performance gets affected. So that's why I decided to use the survival mode, because it felt like a quick way to find where the game can be demanding as hell. Alright, so that's about the performance. Now let's talk a little bit about the game. So Hellbound, like I did told you at the very beginning of the video, it is a 90s game. So it tries to be kind of Iron Fury or the classic Doom. And it is an extremely cheap game, so you can get this game for $12.99 at the time of this video. So that's absolutely nothing, alright? It's really a cheap game. So I thought that the game was cheap because the visuals were not really interesting and the optimization was not there. But in fact, the reason why this game it is so cheap, it is because it finished off really quickly. So you can finish off this game in about 2 hours. So you just buy the game, start to play the game, and for some reason you have a kind of a clear afternoon where you don't have nothing to do, and you start to play the game, and at 4 o'clock you already finished the damn game. So it's something like that. It's a very quick game to finish, and it is not even that hard in my opinion, so it's kind of easy. And also, to be even more worse, this game only offers 4 weapons throughout the entire game, which you already get access to all of them in this specific level, which is the second level. So I'm kind of disappointed with the length of the game and also the offer of the offering of the weapons that you have. It seems a little bit limited. I don't know what was their objective, and for some reason it is really hard to recommend. I think it is nice if this game gets included in stuff like Humble Bundle or Bundle Stars, any kind of bundles where you buy the bundle and you get kind of 4, 6 or 7 games. This is the type of game that fits really well inside those bundles, because it's a game that you will spend your afternoon playing it and you will even enjoy it. The game, it is fine, the movement, it is awesome, the soundtrack, it is nice. It is just too damn short and doesn't really offer too much weapons or too much enemies. So it's a perfect game to include inside a bundle, to include inside the Xbox Game Pass or anything like it, because it's a quick game to finish. It is a good game though, but still lacks a lot of length and a lot of weapons and a lot of enemies. So guys, I think that's all that I want to talk about Hellbound. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.